Good morning, everyone. I'm going to try that again. That didn't sound very Nebraska to me. Good morning, everyone. Now that's Nebraska. Welcome to the Nebraska Early Childhood Workforce Commission report launch. This is an exciting day for the commission, and it's an exciting day for Nebraska. I am Marjorie Kostelnik. I'm the former dean of the College of Education and Human Sciences at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln and a co-chair of the commission that you are going to be hearing from. In front of me is my fellow commission co-chair, Dr. Sam Meisels, executive director of the Buffett Early Childhood Institute at the University of Nebraska. The Nebraska Early Childhood Workforce Commission is a group of more than 40 public and private sector leaders. It was created 3 years ago to develop a comprehensive plan for strengthening and expanding the state's early childhood workforce. The Commission's goal has been to ensure that a skilled, informed, and diverse workforce is available to meet the needs of all Nebraska's children from birth to age 8. We're excited that following 3 years of hard work and productive deliberations, the Commission is ready to share its findings, its vision, and recommendations with you, and with all of Nebraska's residents and decision makers. The focus of the report is on how to tackle one of the most complex and pressing challenges facing Nebraska today. That is, how to expand and strengthen the state's early childhood workforce to meet child and family needs throughout the first 8 years of life. Our report is entitled, it's got a long name here, but it means a lot, Elevating Nebraska's Early Childhood Workforce, Report and Recommendations of the Nebraska Early Childhood Workforce Commission. Every word has important meaning there. Allow me to put the report into a little context. When I first entered the field of early childhood more than 40 years ago, we did not know all that we know today about the importance of the early years on children's development and learning. Many people thought of the really early years as a period that was kind of benign. Children were sort of in an anteroom, waiting to turn 5 or 6 and for the real learning to begin. We had many theories at that time that hinted at the plasticity of the young child's mind, but we didn't have any real visible neurobiological proof. That is until 1997. That's when Newsweek magazine printed the first brain scan photographs of differences in young children's brain development based on what happened in the earliest years of life. Now we could actually see inside the skull of young children. We could see the more developed brain that resulted from positive stimulation such as language, movement, interaction with objects, as well as close, secure relationships with caregivers. The negative influences, when such things were lacking in children's lives, were evident too. We could see for ourselves less brain mass, and in some severe cases, actual gaps in the frontal lobes of very young children's brains. That started a rush to figure out what kind of environments were best suited to promoting childhood learning. In time, we could demonstrate that warm, consistent relationships with a few close adults were key, absolutely key to child development. Similarly, children's brain development thrived when children were given opportunities to move their bodies, explore the world around them, and be appropriately challenged, talk with peers and adults, and play and interact with print. Over the years, there were some people who assumed that it was the role of families alone to provide such experiences directly. However, the reality is that today, more than 75% of Nebraska's children under the age of 6 have all of their parents working, meaning that these families are relying on the early childhood workforce to support them in promoting children's brain development and learning. Thus, the early childhood workforce makes significant contributions to children's development, and increasingly, they influence the abilities of communities to attract and keep young children in their geographic areas. In spite of its important role, frankly, the early childhood workforce is in trouble. Its members are stressed by low wages, long hours, lack, in many cases, of formal benefits, and often long working hours, and sometimes poor working conditions. Many love what they do, but they can't afford to keep doing it. Moreover, young family wage earners can't afford to pay the full cost of the high-quality programs all young children deserve. I find myself in an ironic place being in higher education because it costs some families the same to send their infant or toddler to a child care program as it costs to send a student to a first year in higher ed. And we know that families at both ends of those continuums are stretched way beyond their capacity to be able to do that. Communities count on their employees having access to high-quality care and education for children wherever they may be in our 93 counties. Now that you have an initial sense of the scope of this report, allow me to address the members of the commission who dedicated 3 years of their lives to this effort. These individuals came together regularly, they traveled long distances, and made time for the work of the commission while continuing to carry out many professional responsibilities. For your dedication, time, wisdom, willingness to take on tough issues, and your collaborative spirit, thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask the commission members to please stand and be recognized. Stand and be recognized. To everyone else in the audience, thank you for being here too, in person and through our live stream connections. More than 500 people are here in the room and also online in 12 different Nebraska communities across the state, including Chadron, Fairbury, Gothenburg, Grand Island, La Vista, Lincoln, McCook, Norfolk, Ogallala, and 3 in Omaha. But that's not all. Yay, let's give them a hand. But that's not all. We also welcome our colleagues from across the country. We have viewers in 14 different states finding out what Nebraska's doing. No matter where you are, please share your thoughts about today's event on social media by using the hashtag #EarlyYearsMatter. Most importantly, we would like to recognize and thank the many members of Nebraska's early childhood workforce who work on behalf of young children and their families every day. Hundreds took the time to share their thoughts, beliefs, needs, and strategies for supporting children, families, employers, and the workforce itself. They did this through surveys, conversations, community gatherings, and workshops. I'd like to ask everyone to give a round of applause to these early childhood professionals who are making a positive difference in the lives of so many people every day. We are grateful to each and every one of you for the role you are playing in the early childhood workforce. That workforce is key to promoting healthy child development and learning, as well as helping to keep Nebraska's economy going strong. As family members go to work and as communities increase their abilities to attract young families to stay or move to Nebraska. For everyone who is in the audience, you will see that there are thank you cards on your table. These are lovely, but they actually have an important purpose beyond being pretty. Please take some of them with you to thank a member of the early childhood workforce who is in your life, either directly with your children, your grandchildren, or someone in your community who's supporting your community. Hand them to that person. Write a little note in the back, hand it to the person, or find a stamp, the note, drop it in the mail, and make someone's day. One more group I would like to recognize. Are there any elected officials today with us who are here? If so, please stand and be recognized. Elected officials. We know you are out there. Thank you. Thank you so much.